At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability, ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online, that's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Don't miss the biggest Maytag sale of the year at Lowe's. You'll find the Maytag appliances you need when you need them at a great price. Plus, when you buy 2 select laundry appliances, you'll get up to a $100 bonus via instant rebate. Shop Maytag at Lowe's. We help, you save. Offer valid through 5/31. See store for pricing and offer details. Advertise savings on all major Maytag appliances through Maytag.com and participating retailers. Prices may vary. Additional terms and conditions apply.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Wednesday, May the 14th, 2025, and I'm Woody Overton.
I am Cyndi Overton.
Yes, you are. And you ready to give the people some knowledge of the crimes that are going down?
I think so.
All right. While you get ready, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you about a lawyer. This would be it's time for effed up professionals. You know, my family is full of lawyers and all that shit. My grandparents and parents and brothers and sisters and aunts. And if I had any uncles, they probably would have been lawyers too. And pretty prestigious thing. You get accepted to law school, spend 3 years, 4 years, whatever, and then you got to work your way up, right?
Yeah.
Well, in California, which is where we're going today, this lady, Sara Jacqueline King, she was a lawyer, and she was pretty successful until she wasn't. And you know why she wasn't?
She did something wrong?
Yes, that's correct. Well, she's from Newport Beach, okay? And she's an attorney. She's 41 years old. Should be in the prime of your career. And what she did was she recruited investors under her business name, King Family Lending LLC. And she gave them she did it to get short-term loans to celebrities, professional athletes, and other high net worth individuals. And they were secured by the borrower's own assets, like their homes or whatever, right? Cars, whatever. And guess what? It was a fraud. So, and she did this for 1 year. She did it from January 2022 until January 2023. And that's according to LA Times. And the U.S. Attorney's Office in Central California said after filing charges against King in 2023 that she never initiated or funded any loan. Instead, she used the victim's funds to
Live and buy stuff?
Gamble at Las Vegas casinos and support her lavish lifestyle, right? So, in a civil lawsuit filed by LDR, International Limited of the British Virgin Islands, she's accused of borrowing 97 loans, which amounted to $10.2 million from that company from January to October of 2022. And she spent the majority on the funds loaned by the plaintiff, which is the bank, to King. She gambled in Las Vegas, funded an extravagant lifestyle, and for other personal uses. Now, the plaintiff is informed, that's the bank, is informed and believes that King's moved into the Wynn at Las Vegas Resort and Hotel and lived there for 6 months and gambled 24/7.
Okay.
So I guess she's got a big ass suite because she's getting all kinds of points. You know how that works.
Right.
And she's running up bills and doing whatever. And when she wasn't eating or sleeping, She was down on the floor gambling the $10 million away. Now, I guess at the time she wasn't practicing law, but it all caught up with her ass. And on Monday, May the 5th, Sara Jacqueline King was sentenced to 21 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to wire fraud and money laundering charges. And she's also ordered to pay $8,785,045 back, right? That's just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So she's submitted all these fraudulent, at some point you got to think, I'm going to get fucking caught.
What did she think was going to happen?
These people are going to come after me sooner or later.
Well, did she think she was just going to get a hit big and be able to replace
Probably
it?
so. That's what a lot of the gambling
You
addicts
get stuck
do.
in that.
They're like, oh, I could just take this amount. I'll gamble it this weekend, win it, and I'll put it back.
Yeah.
But $10 million?
Oh, no. I mean, I'm not justifying it.
You living for 6 months at the Wynn.
That's crazy.
And y'all, if you haven't been to the Wynn, it's probably one of the nicest hotels in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like she was
At the Holiday Inn Express.
Exactly. Yeah. But
La Quinta.
So she'd be going to prison for 21 months. So let's figure that out. Well, they said she's got to pay $8 million back, which will probably never happen, like OJ when he lost his civil suit. But you got to spend 6 months, $10 million. That's over $1 million a month.
Well, she's going to see the complete opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess she'll be working for 5 cents an hour now. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Wait a minute. She gets to be a jailhouse lawyer.
She gets to tell. Yeah, that's
she might
true.
make $1 an hour.
She'll probably implement some sort of fraud in the jail.
I mean, you have to come up with that. It's not just like something you wake up and one morning say, I'm going to do this. You submit 97 fraudulent applications saying it's secured by all these celebrities' homes and cars and assets, and the bank loans. The bank must have thought they hit a fucking gold streak, right?
Right.
Well, so they didn't. Now they're out the money.
Wow.
So there you have it.
Jeez Louise. That's.
Oh, you know what? I bet they sold out. I bet she bought $2 million worth of Gucci shit, and they sold that off at auction. So that's only $8 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Gucci, Louis.
Whatever else you can buy in Vegas,
YSL.
which is anything in the world you can buy in Vegas.
Yeah.
So that was a softball today because we've been hitting them kind of hard this week.
Yeah, a little bit hard. I got a softball. Well, this isn't a softball, but it should have been a softball. Growing up in Clinton, I know that I grew up in Baton Rouge and my mom and I lived in apartments most of my life. Mm-hmm. And so, Ding Dong Ditch was like a big part of us being silly little kids at the apartments. You know, you go knock on the door and you run away, that type of thing.
No, we used to do all that shit. We used to put shit in a bag and light it on fire and ring the doorbell. And they come out, they stomp the fire out. And
well, we never did shit in a fire.
We would do paint cans, tilt them against the door. And Swim would do paint cans, tilt them against the door, ring the doorbell.
Bad.
They'd open and they'd get paint on the floor.
Oh my gosh. That's not good.
That's pranks.
That is pranks. And one of my favorite
they're not great pranks if you're the recipient. But
I used to love to call people and say, is your refrigerator running? Or do you have Prince Albert in a can, right? So in Spotsylvania County, Virginia on May 3rd, we had some kids kind of trying to do the same thing. Like, let's take it old school, do some ding dong ditch. So in the early hours of May 3rd, in a quiet neighborhood of Spotsylvania County, Virginia, 18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr., who was a senior at Massapanax High School, was participating in a late-night prank with two friends. Mm-hmm. The trio was engaging in a social media trend known as Ding Dong Ditch. Like they invented it on social media.
They invented it. Yeah. So y'all, the youngsters out there who don't know, it's you ring the doorbell, ding dong, and you hide in the ditch and laugh.
That's exactly right.
And you're like, hello, who's out there?
And now people are doing that and recording it and placing it on TikTok and stuff. But around 3 a.m., the group approached the residence of Mackenzie Lane. And unbeknownst to them, the homeowner which was a 27-year-old Tyler Chase Butler, which is funny. Chase Tyler, not our Chase Tyler, perceived their actions as an attempted break-in. Believing his home was under threat, Butler went and retrieved a gun and opened fire on the teens. Bosworth was struck in the torso and later succumbed to his injuries at Mary Washington Hospital. Another teen sustained minor injuries and was treated and released, while the third was unharmed. Investigations revealed that the teens had been filming their pranks for social media, and one of the surviving teens provided law enforcement with video evidence from earlier that night, corroborating their account of the events. But Butler was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, malicious wounding, and 2 counts of using a firearm in the commission of a felony. He currently is being held without bond at Rappahannock Regional Jail. So,
well,
that's just...
I don't know what happens with that. I remember that kid in Central Halloween went to the wrong house, and he thought they were having a party or whatever, and banged on the door, and the dude shot him and killed him.
I remember
thought
that.
they were breaking in.
I
don't
remember
know
that.
What you do on that. You have a right to defend your shit, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. So, well, y'all often hear me talk about prison justice, especially for chomos, child molesters, and pedophiles and all that, right? Well, there was a convicted child molester, and he was 59 years old, and his name was Michael Schlitz, and he was actually on parole, right? And, well, he's a sex offender. I can't say it was for being a chomo, but we'll get to that. So he was on parole, and, you know, the parole officers, I don't know what happened, but, they couldn't find him.
Okay.
So, I mean, like for years. And so we're in New Hampshire. All right. And this dude's on parole, and he was convicted in 2005 of aggravated felonious sexual assault on a minor. So yes, a child molester. And so he got sent to prison, right? Goes to prison, and he was released in December of 2021. And he was also wanted after violating his parole from his initial conviction, right? So they're looking for him.
Right.
Well, you know, according to WMUR, Schlitz, who officials said was homeless following his release, was one of the Department of Corrections fugitives in October 2023. So I don't know how long it takes you to go missing, right? And or just not report to your parole officer. Well, you know, they did a wanted poster for him and all that. And Michael Edward Schlitz, sex offender, wanted by the Department of Corrections. Well, you know what? They found him.
Good.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, they found him in New Hampshire, right?
Okay.
But guess where they found him at?
In the ground.
No. Guess what they found him near?
Oh, a school?
Better than that.
In the school?
State prison facility. Yes. They found the human remains of the sex offender were found in New Hampshire across the street from the state prison.
What?
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
And he is positively, the autopsy of it was skeleton remains that were found, are that to be Michael Schlitz. And y'all, the police were alerted about the remains on April 21st after a man found the materials in a shed across the street from the New Hampshire State Prison. The materials being his fucking skeleton.
Right.
So Lieutenant Thomas Yerk said that it was possible the remains have been in the area for as long as years due to the condition of the skeleton. And, but as oftentimes happens in cold cases, when your bones are just bones and you can't tell if you were stabbed, there's no organs, there's no meat left,
right,
if you will. They can't determine the cause of death, but it's got to be homicide, right?
Yeah.
And he's hidden inside this building right across the street from the state prison. Makes you wonder if the people who he offended against weren't waiting on his ass to get out. Oh, you getting parole? Well, Lorraine Bobbitt tell her husband, why don't you just go to sleep? Why don't you cut a stick off? You get out of prison.
Walk out and boom.
You rape my baby, you get out of prison, and I'll just kill you right here and put you in the maintenance shed across the street from the state prison. How in the fuck do you not see that?
I don't know.
There you have it.
Wow.
Strange and bizarre, but true.
Wow.
Hey, lifers. Woody Overton here, and I want to talk to y'all about something that's come up around our house more than once lately: hormones. Now, I can't speak from personal experience on this one, but I've seen it firsthand with Cyndi. There were days she'd be feeling drained, overwhelmed, even a little off. We couldn't figure out why. She was eating right, taking care of herself, getting things done like always, but something just wasn't clicking. Turns out it wasn't just stress. It wasn't just being tired. She took this free 2-minute quiz from a company called Happy Mammoth, and it gave her some serious insight into what might be going on with her hormone levels. After answering just a few simple questions, she got personalized breakdown, and one of the main things it pointed out was that her body may be overloaded with estrogen. That's when we found Hormone Harmony, Happy Mammoth's plant-based herbal formula designed to support your hormone levels, stress response, and overall well-being. Since Cyndi started taking Hormone Harmony, she said it's made a noticeable difference. Things like occasional bloating, low energy, and those mild mood dips, all less frequent. And it didn't take a huge lifestyle overhaul to see those changes. Just a small daily habit that fit right into her routine. Now listen, this isn't some one-size-fits-all deal. This quiz gives you personalized recommendations so you can understand what's going on in your body and what might help you feel better. Whether it's Hormone Harmony or one of their other hormone support products, you'll know exactly where to start. And here's the thing. Happy Mammoth has helped thousands of women. They have over 40,000 5-star reviews, and a bottle of Hormone Harmony sells every 24 seconds. That many folks can't be wrong. Ready to start feeling like yourself again? Head over to happymammoth.com and take their free 2-minute hormone quiz today to find the ultimate answer to your stubborn hormonal issues. And for a limited time, you can also get 15% off your entire first order with my code RLRC at checkout. That's HAPPYMAMMOTH.com and use the code RLRC for 15% off today. Summer's just around the corner, and the folks at Mint Mobile have a hot take. Getting the summer bod is out, and getting your savings bod is in. This spring and summer, we want skimpy wireless bills and fat wallets. And with premium wireless plans for just $15 a month, you can have both without breaking a sweat or the bank. I was paying way too much for wireless service and decided to give Mint Mobile a try. And I've been seriously impressed. The call quality is crystal clear, the data speeds are fast, and I'm saving hundreds of dollars. It's the easiest switch I ever made, and I didn't have to sacrifice a thing. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/RLRC. That's mintmobile.com/RLRC. Upfront payment of $45 for a 3-month, 5-gigabyte plan required. It's equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees are extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Well, here's another kind of strange and bizarre but true, and this is in Fayette County, Alabama.
Alabama.
In September of 2024, there was a 1-year-old named Caleb Rowan Collins, and he was last seen alive on that date in Fayette County, Alabama. His disappearance, though, remained unnoticed until December 8th of 2024, when his family had a car accident. Okay. So on that day, a high-speed crash on County Road 73 claimed the lives of Caleb's father, Stephen Collins, and his 2-year-old sister, Riley. Caleb's mother, Wendy Bailey, sustained critical injuries but survived. In the aftermath, authorities discovered that Caleb was unaccounted for, prompting an emergency missing child alert on December 17th of 2024. So investigations revealed a disturbing pattern of abuse, and court documents indicated that Stephen Collins had sent Wendy Bailey messages and photographs depicting severe abuse inflicted on Caleb.
Jeez.
Despite this, Bailey failed to intervene and report the abuse. So on May 8th of this year, after multiple searches, the Fayette County Sheriff's Office discovered human remains in a burn pile at the family's residence.
I guarantee you that's not good.
I got goosebumps. An anthropologist confirmed the remains were human, and they were sent for forensic identification. Both Wendy Bailey and her father, John Elton Bailey, were arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including aggravated child abuse, domestic violence, abuse of a corpse, and criminally negligent homicide. District Attorney Andrew Hamlin filed a petition to revoke their bonds under Anaya's law, citing the severity of the charges. Fayette County Sheriff Byron Yerby described the case as the most challenging and emotional of his 32-year career.
Yeah.
And the community, deeply affected by the tragedy, continues to mourn the loss of young Caleb.
Yeah. You know, people think about cops or homicide detectives and shit, and they see shit, and, you know, I can just file most of mine away until I remember them. And then, you know, but you see those every once in a while. It's like, holy fuck, this is the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
it's rare.
And I hate it for the victim.
Yeah.
And all that. Well, here we go. It's time for Worldwide Crime. I think it was yesterday or maybe Monday's show, but I'm pretty sure yesterday we were talking about the 2 times a year when the people in the height of their life get killed, prom and graduation.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about this one, and this is probably going to get a tear out of you. These 2 girls were on their way to prom.
Okay.
Kira McCann, who's 17, and Dalva Muhammad, who are 16. On July 31st, 2023, they were going to their prom. They were being driven to their prom.
Okay.
By a guy, Anthony McGinn, who was 61 years old.
Okay.
He was going 75 miles an hour and this is in Ireland, by the way. I'm sorry, y'all. And he ran off the road, crashed, and it killed both of the girls.
Jeez.
All right. So the 2 teenage best friends were laid next to each other, holding hands after they were killed in the car crash. And one of the girls' moms said but actually, you know, they tried him again. Let me get to that. So let me just back it up for 1 second. So Kira McCann, 17, and Dalvin Muhammad, 16, were fatally injured in that July 31st crash I told you about. After the car, they were traveling to their high school prom. They're all dressed up, going to prom, struck a tree at approximately 75 miles per hour. Now, Mr. Anthony McGinn, the 61-year-old who was driving the victims to the event at the Westnauer Arms Hotel in Monaghan, he pled guilty to dangerous driving, causing the death of the teenagers in January. He was also charged with dangerous driving causing seriously bodily harm to Dalva's sister, Avon Muhammad, who actually survived. That said, the victims were laid next to one another, holding hands following the crash. And they talk about what road it happened on, etc. But Kiera's mother, Teresa, said in court that she trusted McGinn to drive her daughter to the prom. She said, when we got to the scene, Kia was already gone. Her dad tried CPR on her. Nothing would bring her back. Quotations also. Kia and her best friend were robbed of their lives. They were put side by side, holding hands on the grass as me and my husband lay beside them.
Oh, God.
Can you fucking imagine? So the passenger, Osen Clarkin, had been sitting in the front seat at the time of the crash and had actually asked McGinn to slow down. Isn't that crazy? Said he was driving really fast and it scared me. None of the girls said anything. Kia looked scared. I said goodbye to Kia, and I woke up in the hospital. And that's what he told the Republic of Ireland's police force. The dash cam footage of the crash taken from the vehicle that was traveling behind them, it was played during the sentencing hearing on Wednesday, May the 7th. And it showed the road had been wet at the time of the incident due to rain. And it said on the day of the crash, McGinn had called over to the McCann family home before they all gathered at a pub in Clones ahead of the school prom, right? Having a few drinks. Kia's father, Frankie, told the court that his daughter will never know her first love, get married, or have a child of her own. While Dalva's father, Muhammad, said in a victim impact statement, which was read out by Inspector Lardner, that his daughter was a piece of his heart.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Muhammad said the family had moved to Ireland from Syria to start a new life, but he added that his daughter's dreams were now buried with her. Kiara's father said his daughter's death was a death sentence for the family, and her mom said Kiara's 18th birthday present had been a headstone. Oh, that's fucking hard, right? And Delava's sister, Avon, who was seriously injured in the crash, said, my sister came with me to prom because I had no one else to go with. Oh. She added that everything changed as soon as they got in McGinn's car, and she remember asking the driver to stop before she said everything went black and she woke up in the hospital with all her serious injuries. But here we come from the defense side. The barrister, which is an Irish term for lawyer, Gordon, noted that McGinn had been seriously injured in the crash, and he formally apologized to the family and friends of the victims. And I'm sure, right? What does that do? He's going to be sentenced. Actually, he's going to be sentenced today, May the 14th.
Can't wait to hear what that sentence
heartbreaking.
is.
I mean, it's different all over the world, but just destroyed all dreams, all hopes. And look, we've been there through the graduation. We're going to graduation this weekend,
in a couple days.
And it's just, but this one wasn't even the kids doing it. 61-year-old driving 75 miles an hour on a wet road after leaving the pub. Yeah. I don't know.
That's very sad.
There you have it.
Yeah. Well, let's continue the joy to go. We're going to come back to Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville.
So this starts on October 17th. October 17th of 2023. So we're in Northwest Jacksonville the evening of October 17th. And it was like the evening began as a normal family evening would have begun for this family. Everybody was just, making their dinner, just doing whatever.
Chilling, right?
Right.
Family, living.
Exactly. Not thinking anything's going to happen. So Charles Watkins was 41. His brother, Thomas Harris, who was 38, and their elderly mother settled into their routines, unaware of what was about to happen. Around 9 p.m., the family's mother went to her bedroom.
Right.
She was going to bed. Shortly thereafter, the silence and the stillness of the night was broke with gunfire.
Nothing shatters a little silence like gunfire.
So, scared to death, she rushed into the hallway, and she found Thomas Harris wounded. And in his final moments, he uttered, "She shot me," identifying the assailant as Iris Williams, who was Charles Watkins' longtime girlfriend. Williams then fired another shot at Harris as he lay in bed, ensuring his death. Then she turned attention to the mother, and she pointed the firearm at her and commanded, "We got to go." Under duress, the mother was forced to drive Williams to a motel where she was held captive for several hours. During the drive, Williams confessed to also shooting Charles Watkins, who was later found by authorities sitting in a chair with a single gunshot wound to the head. And despite medical efforts, obviously, I mean, how do you survive? Like you say it all the time.
Man, I don't know.
He succumbed to his injuries in the hospital. And while en route to the motel, Williams disposed of the murder weapon by throwing it over a bridge and attempted to coerce the mother into lying to the police about the events that transpired. Upon returning home the following morning, the mother called law enforcement and Williams was arrested. So the case was investigated by Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and prosecuted by Assistant State Attorneys Jay Plotkin and Crystal Ganpath-Freed. And on May 7th of this year, Duval County jury found Iris Williams guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder, kidnapping with a firearm, tampering with evidence, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. She now faces up to life in Florida State Prison, and her sentencing is scheduled at a later date.
Only life. And I don't have to ask about the death penalty because I know Florida's got it.
Yeah.
But that's another crazy story.
Yeah.
And that's just how shit rolls. But let me tell you about this piece of shit. Y'all, this one's a little bit long. This is going to freak you out.
Okay.
It's time for Effed Up Professionals. So the medical field, we've had a lot of experience in it with the illnesses, et cetera, what have you, right?
Right.
But, you know, if you're a nurse practitioner, it's a pretty prestigious thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I mean, basically you're a doctor.
Pretty much.
And you can prescribe meds and everything. I don't really understand the difference. Maybe there's just a pay level, maybe a little more school. I don't know. My best friend growing up, Hunt's mama is a nurse practitioner, right? So we're going to Washington State and you got a nurse practitioner, right? And he's got all kinds of degrees and shit. But you remember the other day we were talking about the dude from Texas that was in for first degree murder? He got out on $2 million bond with an ankle bracelet.
Yeah, and then fled.
Yeah, okay. Well, this dude's name is David Coots, and he's 43, and he's from Gig Harbor, Washington. Now, he got his ass arrested on March 11th and was charged with second-degree assault, third-degree rape, and tampering with a witness. And I'm going to wait to the end of the story. It's going to piss you off. The further I get into it, the more you're going to get pissed off.
Okay.
So he was a nurse practitioner at the Multi-Care Gig Harbor Medical Park until his license was suspended in April of 2024 by the State Board of Nursing, right? So, because he had a victim, or alleged victim, they say, was a patient of Coots, who's a married father of 5. Coots says.
Right.
And he's accused of persistently pursuing a romantic relationship before beginning an affair with this victim in the last year. Now, well, you say, well, she began an affair with him. How could she be a victim? Well, I'm going to tell you.
Under duress, I guess.
In January, when she learned she was pregnant, she said Coots was overtly supportive in what she told him. But on at least 2 occasions, she believes that Coots tried to induce an abortion.
Okay.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free paint or exterior stain sample to test your look and find the perfect color to confidently refresh your space. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid in-store only 5/8 through 5/14. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See associate for details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
He's already got 5 kids. He's married. And he's like, oh, it's great, baby. You're pregnant. But she's believing this. So Coots prescribed misoprostol pills to himself and slipped 4 of them into the woman's body during sex.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And that if he'd have put them in her mouth, they'd have said mouth into her body. So now that leaves me only to believe vagina or anus, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right. So Melissa Coots, David's wife, pled guilty in June of 2024 to attempted witness tampering for offering to pay off the girlfriend with $2,000, telling her that if she told police, it would ruin her life, as well as David's. Now, on February 5th, David was allegedly relentlessly messaging the woman until approximately 1 minute before officers served him with a protection order. Now, authorities said, per the charge and documents, this is all in the case file, y'all, he also contacted the woman and left gifts and flowers outside her home. And then he got arrested for violating that protective order.
Right.
The piece of paper stood up. He gets arrested. So Coots now recently got an esthetician license by the Department of License on April the 11th. And this is in the court documents. So he could open up a new business.
How do you do that?
Exactly.
How?
Wait. I'm about to really piss you off. So his new business would help people with cystic acne, alopecia, rosacea, how you say that? Rosacea, and hyperpigmentation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the Department of Licensing told the news people trying to investigate about this, told the outlet in a statement, state law doesn't require a criminal background for cosmetology license, but the application asks a person to attest or self-report if they have been convicted of a crime. And he checked no. Now that we know the serious nature of the charges against him, his esthetician license is under review. Now we're not done. The victim, or alleged victim, told the judge, Stanley Rumbaugh, that Coots' ankle monitor has given her peace of mind because he got that as part of his bond, right? But the News Tribune reported, I don't know how to explain how terrifying it is, she said. And that if the monitor comes off and she and her daughter would leave the state, that's how afraid I am of him coming to my house. But guess what? The court had already ordered
The monitor to be removed.
On today's date.
Jeez.
Coots can remove his ankle monitor on May the 14th. He still is not allowed to contact the woman, and his next hearing is set for June the 6th. Now, let me tell you something. That motherfucker has nothing to lose by making this girl disappear. And all his shit goes away.
Yep.
You get a license, so that tells you he's conniving right there. Mm-hmm. How can I make money, right? I'm a nurse practitioner, so I can prescribe shit. I'm going to do all this shit for whatever, all these skin diseases or whatever it may be. But I got an ankle bracelet on, and I'm going to get the court to remove it because it would hinder my business.
Exactly.
And he actually petitioned the court and said, this will fuck up my business.
Ability to make money and support my family.
If my patients come in, they see I'm wearing...
With some long-ass pants, then.
Yeah, well, they're big bulges. It's gonna look. He's either got a pistol under there or an ankle monitor.
Well,
and it goes off all the time. You have to run and check in.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, all right. So back to it. He petitions the court to get it removed, and the court says, "Okay." And as of today, it's coming off.
That is scary. And what's also scary is his wife's actions and everything.
She's already guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? What do you do about that?
You leave the state.
Fuck no. But like, get somebody to fucking enforce the law in Washington and get this motherfucker. Look, he prescribed, I'm assuming that what he prescribed himself is for women to have abortion pills.
Right.
The abortion pill, right?
I'm assuming, I don't know.
He shoves it in her vagina several times during sex. They've proven that you've been arrested for it, that you're going to trial for it. You get an ankle bracelet for it. You have a protective order, which you violated, and they already proved you in violation of, so that means dick to you. And now you're going to start a new business? Come on in, let me take care of your acne.
But they're letting him do all this.
I understand.
What should she do? How can she make someone listen to her? How can she?
I don't know. I'd be carrying a fucking pistol. I feel that motherfucker full of lead.
Do they have open carry or concealed carry?
I don't know
in
what they
Washington?
have in the state of Washington. It wouldn't make a fuck to me. That protective order would make a fuck to him. Get a pistol. Well, you asked me what she could do. Get a pistol. Kill him.
Then she'll spend the rest of her life
Not
in jail.
Not if he's coming after her. Right?
I don't know.
Well, let's not argue about the woman.
I'm not arguing
in
with you. I'm
Washington.
just asking
The
from
bitch
your
needs to shoot him.
perspective.
If I ever saw this motherfucker again, you already made it clear you're going to let him out and you're not going to monitor where he's at and all this shit. He's sent me hundreds of messages right up until the time he got the protective order. Then he violates protective order anyway. And you're going to take his bracelet off of him. And his wife tried to bribe me. Get a pistol. If you ever see his face, unload on him. Let be tried by 12, then carried by 6. And hopefully there's enough people in the state of Washington that would feel the way Woody Overton feels and tell that dude to go fuck himself.
I hope so too. I'm just asking the question from a victim's point of view. If someone's listening, what would you do? And now we know we would get a pistol.
Woody Overton will always get a pistol.
I know that. I mean,
but you asked me.
I know, but I didn't know if you had a different solution for this for a female.
Why would there be a different solution? The paper's not going to stop him. Protective order hasn't stopped him.
Obviously, the government's
Nothing's
going to
stop him. I'm not going to fucking get up and move. This woman probably doesn't have the funds to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you going to uproot your whole life? Yeah, you're going to live in fear. But you know what? This dude, by hook or crook, he's going to fuck up again. Anyway, fuck him. He deserves to be 6 feet under, at least under the jail. And what the fuck? The state of Washington, have you ever been convicted of a felony? No, you don't check.
I guess
In
not.
Louisiana, they check you every fucking license you get. You got to go to state police headquarters, stand in line and fill out a form and they run your criminal history.
Yes.
Right? State of Washington. Run criminal histories. Do something different.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to end up dead.
Yeah.
This dude or her.
Yeah.
So, all right, y'all. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for liking and listening and sharing and all that good podcaster shit. Stay tuned for the update on hashtag Justice for Haley, which is coming this week. We're still planning it out, what we want to say and everything else. And we're actually going to do another call to action, but it's going to be different. It's very, very important. Patreon convicts, thank you for your continued support. We're almost done with State versus Scott Peterson. You're going to hear this episode. We got a lot of responses from last week's episode.
I was going to say.
On the close and death penalty arguments, and y'all are absolutely correct. It's fucking mind blowing, isn't it? And then now when you hear the next 2 episodes, you're going to hear, well, actually you heard one of them this Saturday. When you hear the next one, it's going to make you even madder, but about to wrap it up. And then we're going to lock up some more Patreon convicts bonus episodes and our sponsors. Thank you. We fail to say that a lot.
Yeah.
But thank you to our sponsors. We really appreciate you. And if you want to sponsor Real Life, Real Crime, contact Cyndi at Cyndi at CYNDI at realliferealcrime.com.
Yes.
And that's about all we have to say about that. Halfway through May.
Yeah, I know.
What was the date of your graduation?
Of my graduation? May 13th.
Mine was May 28th.
Isn't that crazy how you don't forget that?
And it's crazy as fuck. That and the day I went in the Army.
Yeah, something.
May 28th, and there were 28 people in my graduating class.
Yeah.
And I graduated last. You know what they call
Did they make you walk out in order?
Oh, I don't even remember. I remember I on purpose, and obviously I had already been admitted to the Army and everything else. I on purpose dyed my hair was jet black, peroxided the sides of my head, and where when you put the cap and gown on, because we had our cap and gown was gold, and you put the cap on, it looked like I had bright peroxide orange hair. Yes. Stupid as fuck. Yeah. And then I went to my first drill that weekend before I went to basic training, and I went in there and the dudes were like, bruh, the drill sergeant's going to have some fun with you with that hair. But I really only did it for graduation. But I did graduate at the bottom of my class, and you know what they called me?
A graduate.
Exactly.
Yep.
And here we are today. How many years later?
A lot. 88 to...
98 2008, 18, 32 and 5, 37 years? Mm-hmm. Damn, it's been a minute.
It's been a whole minute.
For all you people that are graduating, woo, exciting. Enjoy it. Go seize life. The world is your oyster. Do not settle. Always, if you're a guy, you walk into a bar, pick out the prettiest woman in the room and go for her. Right?
Make sure it's a good bar, though, because that's so...
Yeah, you're right. We're not talking about the gun and knife club in the backwoods in the middle of nowhere with sawdust floors, okay? I was hoping since you're graduated and you're moving on up that you would go to a more aspiring place. Okay. But no, I guess that even applies to that because somebody's going to go to that place. But also, job-wise, don't settle. And if you don't know what to do, any job, and this is what I tell our youngest, any job that you can imagine, just about, maybe except for like cosmetology or something, any job you can imagine, United States Armed Forces can provide training for. They have it.
Yeah.
Everything from chefs to tuba players to fucking flying jets to whatever. Go sign up. See the world. I'll never regret my military service.
Don't they help? Oh, I have a...
Oh, yeah, and they'll pay for your college and shit, yeah.
But they also have the tests that help guide you in the direction where you will be most proficient.
You can take the test too, but then you have to take the ASVAB to make sure you score high enough you're intelligent enough to be in that position. Well, I wanted to be military police, and they said I scored too high on the test. They said, you cannot. You're too smart. And then they butt fucked me and got me to agree to be a nuclear, biological, chemical warfare specialist.
Well, that's not butt fuck.
Yes, it was. When you got to school, it was butt fucking. I wanted to be a cop.
Somebody asked what your daddy's specialty was when he was in.
He was. I think it's called Mike 11 Bravo. He was an infantry soldier, paratrooper infantryman. Okay. And back then, specialist and sergeant were the same rank. They were both E5, which is what I was when I got done. Mm-hmm. But now specialist is an E4 grade below. Okay. Yeah, that's what he was. He was part of a task force to respond anywhere in the world back in the 60s, the early 60s. And he was part of the Berlin crisis and all that. Yeah. Rest in peace, Dad. Love you. And we love all y'all. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cyndi Overton.
I'll let y'all later. Peace.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free paint or exterior stain sample to test your look and find the perfect color to confidently refresh your space. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid in-store only, 5/8 through 5/14. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See associate for details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.